You know, we've all had it drilled into us. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But what if the real problem isn't just skipping it entirely? What if it's that skimpy breakfast? You know, the quick coffee or single piece of toast you grab on the way out the door. You might feel like you've checked the box, but your body, and especially your brain, might be telling a very different story. So let's get into it.
So, I want to start by asking you this. Is your breakfast actually doing its job? Is it really breaking that long overnight fast? And look, this isn't about the whole eating versus skipping debate. No, this is about something way more common, just eating too little. We're going to explore why that habit might be setting you up to fail before your day has even really kicked off.
I mean, we've all been there. The morning rush is real. It's so easy to just grab something small, something quick, but that little snack might be what we could call an empty morning meal, one that just doesn't deliver the fuel your body is practically begging for after a long night. Okay, so let's think about what's going on when you wake up. You're basically in what's called a post-absorptive state. For the last 10, maybe 12 hours, your body has been running on its backup generators. Your fuel stores, specifically the glycogen in your liver, are seriously depleted. That first meal of the day is absolutely crucial for refueling and getting your blood glucose levels back where they need to be.
And which part of you feels that fuel shortage first? Oh yeah, it's your brain. Your brain is this incredible high-performance engine that demands a constant, steady supply of energy just to operate. So let's take a look at what happens when it doesn't get what it needs.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. The brain is so energetically expensive. Get this, it's only about 2% of your body weight, but it burns through roughly 20% of your total daily energy. And it's picky. It pretty much only runs on glucose. So when that supply line is disrupted first thing in the morning, you feel the effects, and you feel them fast.
Wow. I mean, this just lays it all out, doesn't it? It's like night and day. On one side, you have a well-fueled brain. We're talking improved memory, better attention, sharper problem-solving skills. But on the other side, that low-fuel brain is really struggling. We see brain fog, slower reaction times, mental fatigue, and even irritability. You know that grumpy, can't focus feeling you get mid-morning? Well, it might literally be your brain running on empty.
But the fallout goes way beyond just feeling a little foggy or cranky. When your body is underfueled, it kicks off a powerful stress response that, over time, can lead to some seriously dangerous health problems.
So, let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets really serious. A major meta-analysis found that people who regularly skip breakfast have a 21% higher risk of having a cardiovascular event or even dying from one. This is not a small risk. It's a huge, well-documented danger. And just when you thought it couldn't get more serious, it does. The same data showed a 32% higher risk of death from all causes for regular breakfast skippers. This tells us that the habit impacts our health on a really fundamental, systemic level.
So how on earth does this happen? Well, it's a chain reaction, a physiological cascade. First, your blood sugar drops too low. Your body goes into panic mode and floods your system with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This spike jacks up your heart rate and tightens your blood vessels, which causes your blood pressure to rise. Do that day after day, year after year, and you're putting a chronic, relentless strain on your heart.
Okay, so we've clearly established that too little is a big problem. But that leads to the obvious question, right? How much is actually enough to avoid all this and properly set yourself up for the day? Let's get specific.
Luckily, science gives us a pretty clear line in the sand. This state of nutritional insufficiency, which is basically the clinical term for eating too little for breakfast, is defined as any meal that gives you less than 15% of your total daily energy needs. Going below this number has been linked to ongoing deficiencies in really important vitamins and minerals.
So, what's the sweet spot? Well, according to major nutritional guidelines, the goal is to aim for about 20 to 25% of your daily calories at breakfast. For most of us, that's going to land somewhere between 300 and 500 calories. And let's be real, that's a lot more substantial than just a cup of coffee.
So what does that actually look like for real people? This chart gives us some fantastic examples. For a moderately active woman, a good breakfast is somewhere in the ballpark of 440 to 550 calories. For a more sedentary guy, you're still looking at almost 500 to 600 calories. And for a really active young man, you could be needing up to 700 calories. It's a real meal, and it's tailored to what you actually burn.
All right, now for the best part, turning all this information into action. Because knowing the numbers is one thing, but actually building a breakfast that hits those targets and makes you feel great, well, that's the real game changer. To build a truly awesome breakfast, you want to focus on these 4 pillars. You need protein from things like eggs or yogurt to keep you full and for muscle repair. You need complex carbs and fiber, think oatmeal or whole grain toast for that slow, steady release of energy. And you need healthy fats from things like nuts or avocado to support your brain and really feel satisfied. The magic is in combining these elements. So really, the big takeaway here is all about shifting your perspective. Thinking about breakfast shouldn't just be about dodging all the negative things we talked about. It's an opportunity. It is your first, best chance of the day to actively choose to give yourself sustained energy, sharper focus, and better health for the long haul. So, I'll just leave you with this one thought. Now that you have this information, you have a very clear choice to make when you wake up. The only question left is, how are you going to fuel your day tomorrow?
Okay, let's dive into why your small breakfast, or skipping it entirely, might be a bigger deal than you think. You know that foggy feeling you get before noon? Well, your breakfast habits might be the real reason why. Get this, a recent study found that 39% of office workers just skip breakfast. It's a really common habit. People usually blame not having enough time or just not feeling hungry, but the effects go way beyond that. So, what does eating too little even mean? It's getting less than 15 to 20% of your daily calories. And here's the thing. This isn't just about skipping. It's about not giving your brain and body enough fuel. The immediate effects on your workday are pretty stark. Skippers just have way less energy and lower productivity. And what's wild is this isn't just a feeling. It's measurable. Skippers are actually objectively slower. As experts say, your brain needs fuel. Without breakfast, it's basically running on fumes, which causes that brain fog. But let's move on, because the daily grind is just part of it. The long-term risks are where it gets serious. Missing breakfast actually triggers a stress response, flooding your body with hormones that raise your blood pressure. Repeating the cycle day after day puts you on a path to a pretty serious condition called metabolic syndrome. Now, this isn't just one disease. It's a bunch of risk factors that really up your chances of chronic illness. A diagnosis is made when you have at least 3 of these 5 dangerous markers. Not good. And this stat really says it all. Regular breakfast skippers have a 21% higher risk of cardiovascular disease. But the good news is, preventing all this is actually pretty simple. It starts with your very next meal. You want to aim for a breakfast that's in the 300 to 500 calorie range. That's the sweet spot. Focus on stuff like protein and fiber. That gives you sustained energy and helps you make better food choices all day. So, your first and maybe most important decision of the day is what you eat. What's it going to be tomorrow?